Hi, I'm the Rap Critic, and this episode was requested by Tyler Ball. And if you'd like to request a song for me to review and get other exclusive material, go to my Patreon for more info. And because you people hate me, let's talk about Lil Uzi Vert. Yeah. You know, there's usually a pattern with some bad rappers. Sometimes I'll hear a crappy single and think, okay, why do people like this guy? And then I'll look up a review or two that'll be giving him praise for his style, and I'll think, oh, come on, he can't be that good. And then I'll look up the album myself, and while I expect to dump on them, I end up begrudgingly admitting that, yeah, okay, there are a few things that the artist does make that makes them stand out on their own. Well, with Lil Uzi Vert, yeah, that wasn't the case. He's just as bad as I thought he was going to be. Seriously, though, I gave this guy a chance. His album even looked kind of cool in that it was based on the Scott Pilgrim art style. I was thinking, oh man, here it goes, another guy who I thought had absolutely nothing going for him, but check out that album art. Surely this guy has something going on, right? There's even a specific track called Scott and Ramona, and one called Team Rocket? And you're thinking, well, this has got to be about something, but nope, absolutely nothing interesting. The Team Rocket song never even explains why it's called that, and Scott and Ramona makes absolutely no direct connection to the Scott Pilgrim universe. So yeah, the Fireworks Dread guy rocking a Charles Manson t-shirt and a rap music video in 2016, with his own video inspired by Donnie Darko and Alice in Wonderland, with an album that looks like it's inspired by the colorful world of the Scott Pilgrim universe? Yeah, not as interesting as you might think. I never thought I'd have to use those type of descriptions for a rapper and then have to end it with, it's basically Young Thug again. An unimposing, skinny guy, weird colored dreads, high-pitched voice, mumbling while slathered in autotune, can't focus on a topic to save his life that isn't money. Sure, there's less referencing to pulling up on people like Pampers, but the presentation is basically the same. I mean, sure, Lil Yachty's basically the same too, but he at least sounds a little different. I mean, he sounds like Barney the Dinosaur on Quaaludes with a head cold, but, you know, different. In fact, Lil Uzi Vert, with his odd name and squeaky voice, kinda has the spectacle of looking interesting while not actually being interesting down to a science. And because all his songs are basically the same, let's look at his biggest hit so far, You Was Right.
Yeah, alright, you was right, I was wrong.
Now on the outset, you'd think this had a concept going, right? Rap song about you being right and him being wrong? What rapper even admits to being wrong? Where could this possibly end up going?
Yeah, I should've never ever took her home. No. I should've just blown. I'm crying in my arms like a nigga wrecked you. Talking about a broken heart, running to the restroom.
Oh, it's about how he should have only had sex with this woman and had no established emotional connection, because women are too emotional, am I right? But, okay, just because women being stereotyped as overly emotional just happens to be disproportionately represented in the media we consume, that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't happen. So, okay, here's another story about that, I guess. Oh, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, hey, here's the Scott Pilgrim tie-in right here. It's gonna be about how, like, Scott Pilgrim, he should have just had sex with Ramona Flowers and just left afterwards, instead of having to deal with her ex-boyfriends or something like that, right? But, no, not really. There are no lyrics or storytelling allusions that in any way directly parallel Scott Pilgrim's narrative. In fact, Uzi Vert manages to do what most mainstream rappers do when they present something that could be interesting. Say it with me now. They
look at my mama chip like we rich. Yeah. Look at my bitch like we rich.
Completely forget about it for the most part and just talk about how rich they are.
I know that you ain't got it, boy. Why you ain't just say that? Yeah. They see I got that money and that was bitch, like I said that.
What? So you, Uzi, you know that some guy didn't have money, and you're saying, why didn't you just say that you didn't have money? And then, upon seeing that Uzi is the one with money, that guy's girlfriend's reaction is, I said that! I don't understand what the connection's supposed to be here. Why would she respond like that? And what is she responding to? It's just not really clear what the I said that is supposed to be in reference to. Is Uzi trying to tell her that her boyfriend doesn't have any money, and she's like, yeah, Uzi, I already knew that my boyfriend was poor. You didn't have to rub it in. Or is she saying that Uzi Vert has money and saying, yep, I said that he was rich? Okay, why are you telling me this? Why is it important that you tell me that she told him that you're rich? Is she some kind of predictor of rich people? You will have a 3-story house to your name. You, sir, will have an apartment with 5 other roommates. And you, save your money. Get friendly with your parents.
When I saw my girl, yeah, you know I had to back that. Never for me, for niggas, yeah, they had that. 5 niggas including me, I had to back.
Oh, wait, here you go. Here's where he's gonna make the Scott Pilgrim reference, right? I mean, he's talking about how his girlfriend has 4 ex-boyfriends. Maybe he's gonna have to protect himself from them trying to
diss me, I take it to your family. I for your sister, then make sure that she vanished.
Okay, not exactly where I thought that was going. Kinda seems like overkill, don't you think?
If you ever say anything disrespectful to me,
I will rape your sister and scream at her asses to destroy the appetite! And rape is not a word I like to use lightly, but, what else am I supposed to make of that? Sure, rappers talk about having sex with your girlfriend and or family members all the time.
You better hide your grandmama, cause I'll fuck her too.
But the idea of consent is a little harder to imply when it's quickly followed by threatening to make her disappear. Maybe I'm the one reaching, but telling me you're gonna bang someone's sister and then make sure she never sees her family members again? That kind of sounds like a rape murder case to me. Either that or he convinced her to join some weird sex cult or something.
Even though we in the same room, you just locked the door, so I gotta text you.
Why would you lock the door if you're already in the same room? You lock a door when you want to keep people out of your room, but if he's already in the room, it's a little too late for that tactic to be effective. Is she just like, nope, lock the door, that means you can't talk to me now?
but see, I'm already in the room, so.
La 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 la, I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Huh, maybe I should have just boned.
Like, babe, unlock the door, gotta use the restroom. Like, I don't want a war, I wanna caress you.
Yeah, babe, I just wanna love you and caress you.
Don't end up like that guy's sister! Overall, yeah, I'd give this a 0 out of 5. This is bad, and in a way that kind of feels disappointing. Like I said, he does seem like he'd have at least something stylistically interesting about him, but no, it's the same auto-tuned mumble rap style that everyone is doing. And people were telling me that his verse on Bad and Bougie was his worst and that he's actually better than that. But, yeah, I didn't see any proof of that on this song or on the album that it's from. And I'm not saying he had to be Lupe Fiasco or anything, I just wanted someone whose style was as interesting and unique as his album art and silly presentation make him out to be. But there's absolutely nothing else going on with this guy. No funny lyrics, no different perspectives, no different sounds or ideas, just him going, huh? Yeah, huh? Yeah, huh? Yeah. Like he's constantly confused about and figuring out how the recording booth works. And this isn't a thing of, oh, you just hate these new rappers because you like old school rappers. Look, rappers sucking is not a new phenomenon. The only difference is the excuses, and the fact that over time, the bad rappers of a certain era get forgotten. Anyone remember Rappin' Duke?
Remember rapping Duke, the hard.
No, not that song. I mean the song that he was referencing.
I was at the Ponderosa rapping to the beat, da ha da ha da ha 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 ha.
This is stupid, ridiculous, and gimmicky. It's like a child wrote it, and at a time when no one took rap seriously because it was a new thing, you know? But now when rappers don't take their lyrics seriously, the excuse is, that's just the new thing, you know? I call bullshit. Being lazy and gimmicky has always been a problem in hip-hop, and I for one will always call it out, past or present. So, now that you know that it's not some new generational thing for rappers to suck, and that it's nothing more than the division of time that allows people to forget the bad music of the past and only remember the good, can we now use that knowledge to push us towards better mainstream representation in hip-hop? Or will we just use the precedent of laziness and style copying as yet another reason to continue the strain of uneventful music that plagues hip-hop? As if I don't know the answer.